I believe that, we are, from your parents to your existence of where you are raised or how you come into this world, nobody don't know the right message to teach anyone. Like, that's just something you're only standing behind the level of fear that you would have as an individual, and the people who are supposedly teaching you whatever they believe to be right or wrong, as far as in the right of the creator or whatever. It's only being shown to you through the aspect of what somebody showed them. Like, they don't even know the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've um I've seen so many different texts and listened to so many different stories, and the farther you go back, the same stories are put into a historical aspect, and the historical events have nothing to do with biblical or religious criterias. They're not even nowhere close. You know what I mean? They're not even nowhere close to the actual historical stories. And these situations were used to procure a certain way that you would visualize um, the demonic energies that we deal with today in a new frame of light. It's weird that from one time to accept the world was the worst thing to do, and now getting anything in the world is supposed to be a God-given gift, right? It's just so funny for that, right? You know what I'm saying? How that goes, how 1 minute it's like this and the next minute it's not anymore. Hold on. And I mean, I know time delegates agenda, and things change, and things that were great at one point is not as great anymore. But there's always tools being used to pull you away from the fact of just being connected to the divine more over than anything. There's nothing more important than the divine. There's no living physical entities that can show you how to be connected to the divine. Even myself, I can only give you experiences as far as how that works for me. I can't tell you what you should do to connect to the divine. It's a blind faith. It's always going to be a blind faith. It's going to be something that you, almost like when you was in class or in gym at one point, and you had to hold your arms across your chest and fall back and let somebody catch you. You had to believe that person was going to catch you. It's not really similar, but it's a good idea to look towards how you would go about doing that. And if you can just go in life and what's the right way of saying it? You can go in life and just believe blindly, knowing that nothing's there physically, but you will lean on that understanding. That's the best way to get there, to the divine connection. There's symbols in different situations that show you going in the right way, but these symbols and situations are hidden. They're meant to be hidden from you, so you won't be aware that you're taking the right steps. And then there's other things that make you feel indifferent, and they make you believe that they're divine understanding. I've made some of the worst decisions in my life. I'm serious. I've made some of the worst decisions in my life as far as people. I'm not going to say some of the things because I don't want to put it in the world, but it was the worst decision. And I'm cool with that. A lot of times we're connected to things in this world that we think it holds us at a certain bay, or it's more important than putting energy into the divine. Well, the divine is here to show you that those things are not important. And whatever you lose, no matter what frame you lose it in, whether it's relationship, love, or connection, the divine can replace that. Moreover, family, friends, and etc. For me to hold on to an idea that has to do with those concepts is not a requisite I choose to do or deal with. I let your ass go fast, and I won't think nothing of it. I don't have to disrespect you. I don't have to feel no type of way about you. When you hurt me in a certain way and I leave you alone, that's that. There's no coming back after that. You better pray, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm that type of person. Like, you hurt me in a certain way and you can't get to that level of forgiveness that's connected to the divine to allow me to grab that forgiveness for you. It'll never work anyway. I'll never accept that shit anyway. You can't just come around me and say sorry. Like, I'm gonna always hold that in the back of my head, like, yo, it's a waste of fucking time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know why I even came around you. Like, and I always keep that right there because that's just the type of person I am. Now, I can't say that for everybody else in the world because, you know, some people just got this type of energy to where they feel like they need people. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never been like that. Like, my whole life, I was good by myself. You know what I'm saying? The only reason why I got mixed up in other energies is because controlling people in my life. People that was in my life that thought whatever they was doing was the right thing for the outcome of whatever they had connected to them. They didn't care about what was going on with those things they was carrying with them. So they just would put those things in situations and didn't think about how that felt to those individuals. And still to this day, they don't see it as that. They just do stuff and they expect you to respect it. Well, the older I get and the more understanding I get to the circumstance, I start to see that the divine was never attached to these things. And people don't even really truly believe in the divine. They speak to the Most High as if it's something that helps them procure a fact of something that they want to do, and that has nothing to do with me. You got consequences to pay doing shit like that. This is almost like you're working for the opposing team with that type of energy. And then you have the level of energy where people deal with magics and shit like that, and they don't go to the divine. They rather deal with the lower. The lower is a power that exists on the opposite scale when it comes to divine capabilities. You have your higher self and your lower self. So I understand, and understand what those capabilities are. I know why people go to the mystic side of things, but that shit ain't got nothing to do with the divine. The last time entities thought they can fight with the divine, you know what happened to them? This is a literal story. The last fight the Almighty Creator had with beings of a physical capability, he closed their mouths. He sealed their mouths shut to where they wasn't able to eat or speak. And they became the entities that started feeding off of your fear. So now you have people who don't listen to the divine, but they act as if they do, but most of their energy comes from feeding off of your fear. Whether people know it or not, they're dealing with an energy that they don't have no understanding of what they're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? And that's their problem. You know, I watch the world just burn, and not in a literal fire aspect. I'm watching them burn themselves by their own beliefs and try to hold blame to circumstances like they're ready to set in motion to say what's right and wrong, when those qualities don't even exist. The Most High gave the earth to its creations to go forth and prosper. So there is nothing that one person can obtain that another person can obtain to. But if I drink too much water, or if I eat too much of one thing, or I indulge in one thing too much of any aspect, I am overindulging. That sets the motion as far as greed. Even within attitude and categories. I've heard some of the most heinous things by people. I've been called some of the most craziest names, and I carried that weight. And I'm cool with that. Always stand in the same form of which I came. And that's not for nobody else. That's just for me. Because I know what the Most High sent me here as. I can speak to the fact of not knowing that these things is going to take place and still be involved. I can speak to the level of discipline that would allow me to be more mindful of these circumstances. But ultimately, the job is to procure those thoughts by being connected to the divine. Know that you're great and get out of your head and get out of your own way of thinking. Connect to the divine so that'll take you somewhere. Otherwise, you're going to die with the rest of everything. And it might not be the death you think. Sometimes you losing abilities and not being able to no more is a death that most people don't want. Try living for a long time without capabilities. Eyesight, eating, tasting, feeling, being able to. Think about those things. Because the detriment comes from what you think you're capable of doing. How you hold somebody else's life back, the things you think you can do under the respect of the divine energy. So through the sun that everything is being seen, it trains this whole earth and gathers information every day to watch what you do. The idea of the divine. That's the tune. Mine's gonna cut off in a second. I'll be back with a third one. You already know the vibes. NAGA.